Your cat is sitting perfectly still, eyes locked on a corner of the room. You look. There's nothing there. No bug, no dust, no movement. Just a wall. And yet your cat stares, intensely, like something is absolutely there. People have been asking this question for thousands of years. Are they seeing something we can't? Is it a ghost? Another dimension? Or is there a completely different explanation? One that's somehow even more fascinating. Let's find out. Number 1. Are they seeing ghosts? Let's start with the question everyone actually wants answered. Cats have been associated with the supernatural for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians worship them. Folklore across dozens of cultures links them to spirits, the afterlife, and things beyond human perception. And when you watch your cat track something invisible across the ceiling at 2 a.m., it's hard not to wonder. Here's the honest answer. There is no scientific evidence that cats see ghosts. But here's what makes this interesting. The reason people believe it, the idea that cats perceive things we simply can't, is actually correct, just not in a paranormal way. Your cat's senses operate so far beyond yours that the gap between what they perceive and what you perceive is genuinely staggering. What looks like nothing to you is often a very real stimulus to them. The ghost theory gets the observation right. It just gets the explanation wrong. So what are they actually seeing? Let's go through it. And by the end, you might find the real answer stranger than any ghost story. Number 2, their hearing is in another league. The human ear detects sounds between roughly 20 and 20,000 hertz. Your cat hears up to 85,000 hertz. That gap is enormous. And it means your cat is constantly processing a layer of sound that you are completely deaf to. When your cat stares at a wall, they may be listening to a mouse moving inside it, or water running through a pipe, or an insect crawling behind the drywall, or a conversation happening in a neighboring apartment at a frequency too high for your ears to register. They're not staring at nothing. They're triangulating. Their ears rotate independently to pinpoint the exact location of a sound, and their eyes lock onto that spot while their brain decides what to do next. What you're seeing is a highly efficient sensory system doing exactly what it was built to do. The wall is not empty. It's just that only one of you has the equipment to know that. And your cat has known it the whole time. Number 3, they can see what your eyes can't. This one is remarkable. Cats can see ultraviolet light. Human eyes have a lens that filters out UV wavelengths before they reach the retina. Cats don't have this filter, which means certain surfaces, walls, floors, fabrics, that look plain and uniform to you may be visually complex to your cat. Cleaning residues, surface coatings, and certain materials reflect UV light in patterns completely invisible to the human eye. On top of that, cats have a reflective layer behind their retinas called the tapetum lucidum, which amplifies available light and allows them to see in conditions 6 times darker than what humans need. They also have far more rod cells than we do, making them exceptional at detecting the faintest movements. That barely there shimmer of light across the ceiling, the almost imperceptible flutter of a dust particle caught in a beam, the micro-reflection of a passing car on the wall. Your cat sees all of it, in high definition. You see nothing, and the gap between those two experiences is wider than most people ever stop to consider. Number 4, their hunting brain never fully switches off. Even the most pampered indoor cat carries the complete neurological wiring of a predator. When a cat locks onto a spot and goes completely still, they're often in the early stages of the hunting sequence, the phase where they observe and wait before committing to the pounce. Whatever triggered their attention, a tiny movement, a sound, a flash, their brain has flagged it as potential prey and shifted into assessment mode. They're not confused. They're patient. They're doing exactly what their ancestors did in the wild, watching, calculating, waiting for the right moment. This is also why the staring can go on for so long. Cats are built for sustained focus. A wild cat might watch a mouse hole for an hour before the mouse appears. Your cat staring at a corner for 20 minutes isn't strange behavior. It's ancient behavior, playing out in your living room. The prey just happens to be invisible to you. Number 5, they're following a scent trail. Here's one that almost never gets talked about. Cats have a sense of smell roughly 14 times more powerful than ours. And scent doesn't disappear the moment the source does. It lingers. It moves. It dissipates slowly in ways that create invisible trails across your floor, up your walls, and through the air. When your cat stares at an empty corner, they may be tracking the scent trail of an insect that walked through hours ago, or picking up on an animal that was once present in that space. or detecting something carried in on your shoes, your clothes, or through a vent. Their nose is reading a story that's written in a language you can't access. The story might be old, but to your cat, it's live information, and it deserves attention. Every corner of your home has a scent history your cat knows better than you do. Number 6, sometimes they're just zoning out. Not everything has a deep explanation. Cats are complex thinkers, but they're also creatures who spend the majority of their lives resting and processing. Sometimes, a cat stares at a wall the same way a person stares out a window on a train. Not because there's anything to look at, but because the brain needs a moment to simply exist, without input. Daydreaming, processing, doing nothing in particular. If your cat is relaxed, their body is loose, their pupils are normal, and they snap out of it easily, they were probably just somewhere else for a moment. There doesn't always have to be a reason. Sometimes a stare is just a stare. Even cats get to take a mental break. Number 7, when. It's not nothing, and you should pay attention. Most of the time, your cat staring at nothing is completely harmless. But occasionally, it's a symptom. Focal seizures, which affect only part of the brain, can cause a cat to stare blankly into space, sometimes with subtle mouth movements or twitching. These are easy to miss and easy to mistake for normal zoning out. Feline hyperesthesia syndrome, a condition involving abnormal skin sensitivity, often includes trance-like staring episodes followed by sudden manic behavior or frantic grooming. In older cats, staring at walls or into space can be an early sign of feline cognitive dysfunction, essentially dementia, which may also show up as disorientation, changed sleep patterns, or confusion. If the staring is new, frequent, prolonged, or accompanied by any other unusual behavior, twitching, vocalizing, stumbling, or seeming genuinely unaware of their surroundings, it's worth a conversation with your vet. Most of the time, it's nothing, but sometimes it's the first sign of something that catches quickly when addressed early. Here's what all of this comes down to. Your cat is not staring at nothing. They never are. They're living in a version of your home that is richer, louder, brighter, and more complex than anything you can directly perceive. Every stare into what looks like empty space is a window into how differently they experience the world. The ghost theory isn't as far off as it seems. It's just that the ghost is a sound frequency you can't hear, or a UV reflection you can't see, or a scent trail you can't follow. Your cat isn't supernatural. They're just operating on a level you can't access. And honestly, that's more interesting than ghosts. It means you're sharing your home with a creature who experiences a completely different reality, in the same room, at the same moment, every single day. Next time your cat freezes and stares at something you can't see, don't dismiss it. Look around, listen, try to figure out what they're picking up that you're missing. You won't always find it. But the fact that it's probably there, that your cat is living in a sensory world you only get glimpses of, makes every one of those stares a little more extraordinary. I post 2 new videos every week about understanding your cat more deeply. If that matters to you, subscribe. It's free. And go find your cat.